My husband's sister moved in and started using my stuff without asking. She scratched my car and opened a credit in my name. When I finally said something, she told me, "We're family. Stop acting like everything here is yours." My husband just nodded and smirked. So I stayed quiet and started making moves. But before I got to that point, I spent way too long wading through the swamp of politeness and denial. My name's Madison, Maddie to my friends. I'm 34, a freelance graphic designer. I work from home designing packaging, labels, logos, anything that ends up printed and sold. It's not glamorous, it's not art, but I love it. It's precision, texture, fonts, a bit of taste, and it pays the bills. I'm not some creative genius. I'm just good at what I do and don't waste time pretending otherwise. I earn a decent living. More than people think. Especially my husband. He calls it internet hobby stuff. That internet hobby has been paying our mortgage. Zach, my husband, works for a home security company. Drives around, installs cameras, climbs ladders, comes home tired but chill. He's 36. Generally a good guy. Or he was. When we met, he seemed grounded, calm, not much of a talker but solid. The kind of guy who could fix a leaky faucet without making it worse. I figured that's the balance. I'm the creative dreamer, he's the steady one. Now I'm not so sure he's even been paying attention to where he walks. We have a small house just outside Austin, Texas. 3 bedrooms, a garage, a backyard with zero lawn and a lot of ambition. One bedroom was the guest room. Another my home office. My space. My desk, shelves, monitor, drawing tablet, and the expensive laptop that's not just gear. It's my livelihood, my bubble, my quiet place in a loud world full of likes. Zach called it the cave. Like I was in there doing tarot readings or whispering to crystals. Funny. That cave paid for our vacations, our furniture, and those fancy speakers he put in his car. The first 3 years of our marriage were mostly fine. The usual disagreements, nothing explosive. Then came Marley, Zach's younger sister. 22. Walking disaster and designer knockoffs. I'm just going through a lot. The world's unfair. I'm not like everyone else. You know the type. She'd been couch hopping with boyfriends, girlfriends, then landed between places. After a toxic breakup with a manipulative narcissist. Zach's mom called him. She needs a place to reset. Just for a while. By the time I heard it, he was already nodding. Just a couple of weeks, Maddie. She needs time to get back on her feet. Marley showed up with 2 suitcases, a cat, a box of half-filled journals, and that air people carry when they're clearly staying longer than they said. First, I really did try. I'm not the type to kick someone out. I just wanted her to respect us, our space, and my stuff. She had other ideas. It started small. "Oh, I borrowed a little of your foundation. I ran out. I used your mug. It's so cute. I moved a few photos onto your laptop. Mine was dead." A week later, my $100 foundation was halfway gone. 2 weeks in, my $150 perfume was empty. The one I saved for special days like a rare piece of chocolate. Then my charger went missing. Turned up in her room. Along with my hairbrush. And a silk robe I hadn't seen in months. I told Zach I was uncomfortable. He shrugged. She probably didn't mean anything by it. Just tell her. So I did. Marley looked at me like I'd asked her to pay rent. "Oh wow, sorry Maddie. I thought we were like sharing. You know, family." Family apparently meant open access to my skincare, my cat mug, which now lived in her room with ramen stains, and my slippers. My actual sheepskin slippers. The one she wore out for a smoke. And okay, maybe none of that sounds huge. But it felt invasive. Like tiny fingerprints on my time, my space, my skin. I talked to Zach again. He sighed. "Babe, you're being sensitive. She's just not great at being a guest." Then came the robe incident. I had a big client Zoom that morning. Got up early. Washed up. Reached for my white robe, my ritual to feel remotely human. It wasn't there. Marley walked out of the bathroom wearing it. Towel on head. Totally casual. "Oh, that's yours? I couldn't find mine. Hope that's okay." I didn't scream. But something cold started growing inside me. Not anger. Not yet. Just that tired feeling when you know if you explode now, you won't come back. A month in, things shifted. My stuff wasn't just borrowed, it was coming back ruined. Foundation smears on my tee. Broken zipper on my makeup bag. And then the dress. My favorite black dress. Sleek, elegant, low cut. I saw it in her Instagram story. At a club. Under neon lights. Drink in hand. It came back the next day in a grocery bag, smelling like cheap perfume, with a red wine stain near the hem. I stood in the kitchen, holding it like evidence. Marley walked by. Oh yeah, sorry. Someone spilled. But come on, you never wear it anyway. I didn't yell. I didn't slap her. I just looked at her. And she added, don't be such a gatekeeper. It's just a dress. I told Zach. He shrugged. She didn't do it on purpose. These things happen. That night I sat in my office. Lights off. Just sitting. Not crying. Not angry. Just thinking. If nothing here is mine, then where the hell am I? After the dress incident, I decided to finally set some boundaries. Well, tried to. For me, that looked like politely asking, hey, please don't use my things without asking. And silently falling apart when I saw my favorite hoodie in Marley's Instagram story. You know, the one she just borrowed to wear around the house. Except now she was wearing it at some bonfire party, laughing with a group of people I'd never seen before. Sometimes I'd catch myself avoiding her. Not because I was scared, but because I was tired. Tired of how nothing stuck. You couldn't reason with her. Couldn't guilt her. Couldn't even get her to care. Everything became a joke. Oh, I didn't know you were that sensitive. You sound like my old high school teacher, so uptight. Relax, Maddie. Seriously. Zach thought I was just overreacting to little things. But little things? Little things are grabbing the wrong remote. When someone constantly disrespects your space, your time, your sense of self. That's not a little thing. That's slow erosion. Then came the car. Not brand new, but mine. My Mazda. I took care of it, not because I'm into cars, but because it was mine. My stability, my backup plan. When you freelance, clients cancel, deadlines slip, but the car is solid. Or was. That morning, I had a meeting with a new client. A $5,000 contract. I was excited, nervous. Got dressed, prepped my samples, walked outside. No car. First thought. Stolen. Then I checked the key hook. Empty. Then I opened Instagram. There she was. Marley. In my car. Cruising downtown for coffee and nails. Caption self-care day. I stared. Inhaled. Exhaled. Called her. Where are you? Downtown. Why are you freaking out? You took my car. I'm just using it for a couple hours. It's not like you needed it. But I did need it. And now the meeting was a bust. Sure, I could have taken a rideshare, but the samples, the packaging, the mock-ups, they were all in the trunk. That meeting was my foot in the door. The client was testing me out. He texted later. Sorry it didn't work out. We're going to explore other options. Zach said. She didn't know you had a meeting. Don't be mad. Of course she didn't know. She didn't ask. My boundaries had been bulldozed again. And no one even flinched. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. Just felt hollow. A week later, Marley took the car again. Just grabbing takeout. She came back with a dent in the front fender. A scratch down the side, long and sharp like a scar. Someone must have hit it in the parking lot. She shrugged. Not my fault. Are you okay? Zach asked, looking at her like she'd barely survived a war. I'm fine, she smiled like she just spilled a drink and not dented my car. Later, my mother-in-law called. Maddie, seriously? You're more worried about a car than your sister-in-law's safety. Yes, because Marley, parked outside a taco place, was nearly murdered by a curb. And the dent? Never discussed. The scratch? Never acknowledged. I asked Marley if she'd help cover repairs. Why? I told you it wasn't me. I was just parked there. Right. Just parked. Just borrowed. Just scratched. Just yours now, apparently. A few days later, I walked outside and the car was gone. Again. Keys? Nowhere. I walked back inside. There was Marley scrolling through her phone on the couch. Where's my car? She froze. Then shrugged. Impound lot. What? I went to my friend's last night. Parked outside her place, came back and it was gone. Then defensive. There wasn't even a sign there. Why didn't you go get it? I can't. Why? My license expired. I don't want to risk more trouble. Can't you go? So I took a rideshare. Brought all the paperwork. Paid the fine. Wasted half a day. Came back. Marley was watching Netflix. Eating ice cream straight from the carton. That night Zach asked, "You're not freaking out over the car, right?" "No, Zach. Not just the car." That's the moment I realized Zach wasn't stupid. Just comfortably oblivious. But the final glorious cherry on top? I was working on a tight deadline for a beauty brand, prepping a client presentation due the next morning. I stepped out for a quick walk to clear my head. Came back. Marley was in my office. On my laptop. FaceTiming someone. "Your phone not working? It died. And you weren't using the laptop." "Relax. I didn't break anything." The file was gone. Just gone. She'd saved her beauty blog draft over my presentation. When I opened the folder, expecting layout grids and mock-ups, I got glittery pink backgrounds and 6 versions of her selfie in a crown filter. The client pulled out. And why wouldn't they? Marley didn't break anything, but somehow managed to break everything. That night I said it, finally calmly. "I don't want you in my office anymore. Don't touch my laptop. Don't touch my things." She raised an eyebrow like I'd asked her to start paying rent. "Wow, someone thinks she's special." "I'm just asking for basic respect. We're family. Stop acting like you're the queen of this place." Then she left the room. And Zach? He just shrugged. "You can be a little harsh sometimes." She didn't mean it. Meant it or not, the result was the same. I no longer felt like I lived in my own home. I felt like I was crashing on someone's couch, someone who forgot they invited me. If I spoke up, I was being dramatic. If I stayed quiet, everything's fine. The next day I got the email. Bank approval. A line of credit. $3,289. MacBook Pro, iPhone, accessories all in my name. Shipping address? Our house. I just froze. How? Only I had the password to that email. Or so I thought. But then I remembered my laptop. She'd been in it. Saved logins, autofill, birth date, address. Handed to her like a welcome gift. That evening I found the box on our porch. Marley came out grinning, holding the shiny new laptop like it was a prize from a game show. "OMG, finally. Isn't it gorgeous?" She beamed. "I knew you'd come through. You used my name," I said. "You opened a credit in my name." She just laughed. "Oh, come on. You're doing fine. I'll pay you back. We're family." I didn't say a word. Didn't yell. Didn't throw the box. Not because I didn't know what to do, but because that was the moment silence hit. Not the awkward kind. Not the kind you use to guilt someone. The kind that happens when everything inside you collapses at once. And in that silence I started planning. There was no meltdown. No shouting. Just a pause, the kind where something inside you clicks and says, "We're done here." Not the marriage. Not the love. Just the trying. I went into the bedroom, pulled out my old laptop. The one that still felt like mine. No one had touched the browser settings. My tabs were still there. My passwords. My thoughts. The next day I called a lawyer. Found him through a friend. Her ex had taken out a credit card in her name to buy a PlayStation. Back then I laughed. Now, not funny. The lawyer was calm, quiet, professional. He listened. For a long time. Took off his glasses, rubbed his eyes and asked, "Do you have any proof?" "Yes." Screenshots. Photos of the car damage. Emails with clients. The cancellation after the loss project. The bank alert. Even the shipping confirmation for the MacBook. All of it. He nodded. "This isn't just a misunderstanding. It's potentially financial abuse and identity fraud. You need to start documenting. Today." I walked out of his office, sat down at a coffee shop around the corner, ordered a black coffee, bitter enough to match the day, and wrote a list. Simple. Sharp. Like nails on a board. 1. Turn off autofill on all devices. 2. Change every password, email, bank, socials. 3. Save every receipt, invoice, message. 4. Separate finances. 5. Get my tech out of that house. That last one hurt. Physically. I came home when Marley was out and Zach was at work. I quietly packed my tablet, backup laptop, graphic tablet, chargers, drives, everything tied to my job. Loaded it into a backpack and a duffel. Took it all to the co-working space I'd used before. Paid for the month up front. No one noticed a thing when I got back that evening. Life shifted into this weird half-limbo. I lived there but not really. Cooked for myself. Worked outside the house. Barely spoke to Marley. Spoke to Zach only when I had to. He noticed. Asked what was wrong. I'm just tired, I said. Tired of what? Of being in a house where I'm not allowed to say no. He frowned. I don't get why you're being so dramatic. I tried to explain. That when your things stop being yours, when you're the one paying the bills but not allowed to have an opinion, when you're told you're too much for just wanting space, that's not a partnership. That's a lease. Without a contract. He got upset. Sulked. Came back later with, you know I love everyone. I just show it differently. A week later I rented a small studio downtown. Told Zach it was for a big new project. I've got too many deadlines, I said. I need focus. I'll be there a couple weeks. He shrugged. Hope you're not mad at us? Us. I echoed, pretending not to know who he meant. You know. Me and Marley. Don't worry, I said. I'm just doing what I have to do. He didn't even ask when I'd be back. The studio was cold but peaceful. No other voices. No mystery mugs in the sink. No showers running while I tried to work. I set up my laptop, laid out my files, and for the first time in months, I exhaled without feeling like I had to apologize for existing. Every morning started with documentation. I wrote a timeline, what happened when, how much it cost me. Screenshots. Receipts. I even recovered a backup of the deleted presentation. Added that too. Marley texted a couple of times. Where are you? Are you still mad? I didn't respond. Zach sent a smiley face. A heart. I didn't respond to that either. I wasn't angry. I just couldn't live in a place where silence was mistaken for peace, and the only way to be heard was to scream. A week later I came by to grab some clothes. Marley was in the kitchen, drinking a smoothie from my blender. Oh hey, you're back. She smiled like nothing happened. No, just picking up some things. What's with the attitude? I just don't want to keep getting stolen from. Oh come on. You're a designer. You'll make more. Zach stood by the window, saying nothing, not defending me, not correcting her, just absent. And that was worse than taking her side, because at least that would mean he picked one. And that's when I knew I wasn't going back. The email arrived that morning. Subject line. Installment plan approved. I almost deleted it, assuming it was spam. Then I saw my name. And the shipping address, our old house. The one I no longer lived in. I opened the attachment. An online makeup academy course. $2,560. Financed through a firm. Signed up 2 weeks ago. Right before I changed all my passwords. Marley. Of course Marley. I didn't cry. Didn't scream. Just made myself a coffee black and sat down at my laptop. Opened the document where I'd been logging everything. Added a new entry. Date of application, order number, screenshot of the email. Called the bank. Then a firm. Then my lawyer. And finally the police. I wasn't even angry. It felt like hitting replay on a song you hate but know by heart. 2 days later the backlash began. First Zach called. Then again. And again. I didn't answer. Then the text started. What did you do? Marley's in trouble. You really want my sister to go to court over a course? Withdraw the complaint now. It's not even a crime, she just. I didn't finish reading. Just archive them. He wasn't asking. He was demanding. Then Zach's mom called. After some hesitation I picked up. Through tears and pauses she pleaded. Maddie, you have to understand she's just a girl. She wanted to learn. We would have helped if we knew. But the police? Court. Do you want to ruin her life? I stayed silent. She sobbed louder. You're tearing our family apart. You already have. You were like a daughter to me and now? God, how could you? She stole my money. Used my information without asking to buy expensive things and courses. But you earn well. I do. And that's why I value not just money, but respect. Maddie, please, she cried. Don't do this. Withdraw the complaint. I'm sorry it came to this, I said and hung up. Next was Zach's uncle. We'd spoken maybe twice before. Maddie, don't you think you're overreacting? It's just a couple thousand. She's young. You're older, wiser. You should be the bigger person. Of course. Women are always expected to be the bigger person when they're robbed. Then a cousin from Arizona I barely knew messaged. Heard you're suing Marley. It's just an online course. You really think that's a crime? Didn't expect this from you. Followed by a text from Zach's aunt. Maybe try therapy if you can't let go. At some point I stopped responding. Then Zach showed up. Angry. What are you doing, Maddie? He demanded. Why did you leave me? What did my family ever do to you? I left because you treated me like furniture, something to be shared. I tried to explain one last time. Because neither you nor your sister respected my opinions or desires, and believed that in my own home, I had nothing that belonged solely to me. So you decided to get revenge? On a girl? Just because she dared to use your precious credit card? Yes, she made a mistake. Yes, she didn't ask. But you're acting like you were mugged. I looked at him. Silent. He raised his voice. You're retaliating because you couldn't control everything. Because for once, someone didn't ask to drink from your mug, sit in your chair, and you broke. No, Zach. Retaliation would be taking out a loan in her name, or driving her car without permission and ruining her work. But I never did that. Ever. But it's not that serious. She's not a criminal. And if her name wasn't Marley, and she wasn't your sister? He didn't answer. Just breathed heavily. Looked at me like I was the traitor. She'll break. If this goes to court, if it ends up on her record, she won't recover. Zach, I said. When she did all this to me, not once did you say I might break. That night I couldn't sleep. Stared at the ceiling for hours. Thought not about Marley. Not about Zach. But about myself. Did I want her jailed? To have a record? No, I didn't. Did I want everything forgotten? For her to continue living off others as if nothing happened? Also no. I wanted anyone to finally understand. Being kind doesn't mean being a doormat. Being silent doesn't mean being indifferent. Not shouting doesn't mean not feeling. 2 days later I went to the station. Said I wanted to withdraw the complaint. Confirmed the damages were repaid. That it was a personal matter. That the other party was close family. The officer nodded. Anything else you'd like to add? I said. I just want people to understand the difference between asking and stealing. And that just a little still counts. Marley now has an administrative record. Not criminal but a financial offense. She's now considered a high-risk borrower. No loans or rentals for the next few years. And yes, it will show up on applications. But no criminal record. Zach and I finalized our divorce a month later. He tried telling everyone I accused his sister of fraud over an iPhone. But half our mutual friends knew the truth. Marley now has no iPhone. No laptop. No job. No credit. But she still feels like the victim. I'm sure she truly believes that. And me? I have a studio with tall windows. New clients. A new team. Every morning I drink coffee from a mug no one else touches. Wear clothes no one else takes. And use a laptop only I open. We had to sell our house. Technically it was joint property. The money got split 50-50 even though I bought most of the furniture. But honestly, I don't care anymore. I didn't get revenge. I just left. And that was enough. Sometimes taking your life back means saying one word. No. Not explaining. Not justifying. Just saying it and walking away. So you can finally breathe again. But what do you think? Should I have followed through to the end? Do people deserve forgiveness if they're not sorry? Let me know in the comments what would you have done. And if this story hit home for you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.